Welcome to the Doing Research in Sport and Recreation and Hospitality Management video tutorial. I'm Desirae Zingarelli-Sweet, the librarian for Sport and Recreation Management, Hospitality Management, and Business here at JMU. I'm going to walk you through some of the basics you'll want to know about using the JMU libraries in general, and about doing research in sport and recreation and hospitality management in particular. The bottom line is, if you know what types of information are available and how to find them, you'll be able to do better work and save yourself time in the process. In this tutorial, we'll cover three main topics. First, I'll introduce you to some of the library's resources and services, which you can access through the JMU Library's website. Second, we'll go over the different types of information sources that will be helpful to you. Third, I'll explain how you can ask for help if you get stuck. Part 1. Library Resources. To illustrate the resources and services available to you through the JMU libraries, I'll take you to the library's website, www.lib.jmu.edu. You may have already visited the library website to look up the library's hours, book a study room, or search for articles and books. The JMU library's website serves everyone in the JMU community, undergraduates, graduate students, professors, other staff members, and even librarians. To help you understand how the page is organized, think of it as having three main parts. First, let's look at the center of the page. In the panels on either side, you'll see what's going on in the libraries, including building hours, events, and highlighted resources. At the very center of the page, you'll see some of the most frequently accessed sections. Second, at the bottom of the page, you'll find a footer with the expanded menu of information about the JMU libraries and its major resources and services, including off-campus access to electronic resources, course reserves, equipment checkout for media resources, and more. What you'll want to pay special attention to is the third section of the site, the research ribbon at the top. In this section, you'll find the quick search box, which you may have already used. This is a great place to start if you're doing general research. It can help you get an idea of what's been written on a given topic. Up here, you'll also find shortcuts to different types of materials. For instance, if you already know you want to use a specific database, you can jump straight to research databases using this link. Now look again at the very center of the page at the Subject Guides button. These guides are like a roadmap to the resources you, as a JMU student, have access to. In contrast to Quick Search, these subject guides are a great place to start when you are doing more in-depth subject-specific research. There are research guides for some courses and for each department, including Sport and Recreation Management and Hospitality Management. So, you may be wondering why you would use the library database. What's in the library catalog versus Quick Search versus one of these subject-specific databases? This graphic illustrates the differences between these three. Take a moment to look it over. The small circle represents the items that will show up in a search of the library catalog, over 1 million books and ebooks, videos, audio, government documents, and more. The large circle represents all the items that show up when you search Quick Search. This includes everything in the library catalog, as well as a vast number of articles and reports, because Quick Search searches a sampling of the JMU Library's research databases. In all, this includes over 373 million items. The outer rectangle represents all items JMU owns or subscribes to, including the subject-specific research databases that are not included in Quick Search. So, depending on your project, it can be important to use these subject-specific databases to find items you would not find otherwise. Part 2. Information Types. To complete the industry recruiting project for this class, what kinds of information do you think you'd need? What would you look for, and where would you look? Some types of information you'll find helpful in this and other classes in sport and recreation and hospitality management are industry reports, company profiles, scholarly articles, news and professional or trade articles, and various types of statistics. Industry reports are written by analysts who track that industry. They contain information about an industry's performance and outlook, driving forces, major players in competition within the industry, and statistics. These reports look at all of the companies that do a certain type of business, like casinos that operate as hotels. On the right is an example from the database IBISWorld. Use the links at the bottom of this video to access this and the upcoming examples. Company profiles, on the other hand, have information about a single company that is part of one or multiple industries. Company profiles contain information about what that company does, its lines of business, financial information, and usually something about top executives and the company's major competitors. On the right is an example of a company profile from the database Mergent Online. These are examples of scholarly and trade publication articles about club managers from the database Hospitality and Tourism Complete. If you're not sure how to tell the difference between scholarly and trade or popular articles, take a look at this video. Statistics are the last information type we'll look at. You may find statistics in their raw or unanalyzed form, as with the example here, but some statistics will also be found in other types of information, like books, industry reports, and articles. Because statistics, by their nature, produce a big picture view of a subject, they'll be particularly useful for thinking about industries and consumer behavior. The example on the right is a table from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics showing average wages for the D.C., Baltimore, Northern Virginia area by occupation. So where would you find these sources? As we saw earlier, books, ebooks, and journal titles will show up in the library catalog. So you might find a book about the industry you're interested in, or a reference book that contains salary information. Again, everything that's in the library catalog will show up in Quick Search, but in Quick Search, you'll also find a bunch of scholarly, trade, and news articles, as well as a handful of industry and company reports. But you'll find all of the information types shown above through the research databases that JMU subscribes to, especially if you use the subject guides to get there. It's also important to know that statistics about industries and salaries are available on government websites like the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics site, bls.gov. You can also find some industry information and statistics through the websites of trade associations like the American Hotel and Lodging Association. So Googling it has its place in business-related research, but think about it. The types of information we've just reviewed are valuable. It's expensive to track, gather, and analyze this sort of data, especially if companies are reluctant to disclose key information to potential competitors. For instance, if you search for something like casino hotel industry growth, you'll get some quality results. But the top two results here are not free. Clicking on the first one will bring you to a teaser page that gives you purchase options. Luckily, JMU pays for you to access much of this information, in part with your tuition dollars. To take full advantage of the information available to you as a JMU student, just make sure you're set up for off-campus access so you can use the JMU Library's resources at home. Part 3. Getting help. If you get stuck while you're doing research for this or another class, don't be afraid to rethink your strategy or, better yet, ask for help. Librarians are here to help you figure out your next steps. You can find contact information for me, the librarian for Sport and Rec and Hospitality Management, from the subject guides. You can ask a question via email, by phone, by chat when the green box is lit up, or in person by either dropping by my office or by appointment. All of the JMU librarians are trained to help you with research in sport and rec and hospitality management, so look for the Ask a Librarian link around the JMU Library's website to get help by phone, email, or chat, or stop by one of the libraries to get help in person. Remember, there are different types of information sources that will help you do research in this area. The subject guides on the library website can help you get to them. And, if you get stuck, ask a librarian for help. This has been the Doing Research in Sport and Recreation and Hospitality Management video tutorial. Now you're ready to take the quiz on Canvas.